Did Daenerys and Jon Snow have a baby? Random and unexpected question. As far as we know, Daenerys is dead. However, with the announcement of Snow, this question has come to life, becoming quite popular among fans. Could it be true? Is there a mystery baby? Today on Fantasy Archive, we will go over the possibilities of a Targaryen baby and where this theory came from. For those of you who don't know what Snow is, listen up. Snow is a Game of Thrones spin-off focusing on Jon Snow's story after the Game of Thrones finale. The project is still in contention for a full series order. There is no concrete information regarding the plot, but the idea of a Targaryen baby was born on the possibility of the Snow spin-off. Some of you might be wondering why we even think Jon and Dany had a baby when we didn't even see Daenerys pregnant at any point throughout Season 8. Well, all of this is a courtesy of a Redditor user who shared a picture 3 months ago. According to him, there was a scene in Game of Thrones Season 8 where Daenerys was shown pregnant. But the scene got discarded and was never released. And of course, we never saw the baby. But what if Daenerys and Jon Snow did have a baby before the events of the finale and the producers changed their minds and cut it out? That would have been insane, right? A complete plot twist. So, for entertainment purposes, we're going to guess and speculate on the possibilities of Daenerys and Jon Snow's baby and how it could affect the future storyline. But first, let's talk about Jon and Daenerys' relationship. It was revealed in the final season that Daenerys is Jon's aunt. When they found out, they were shocked, but it was too late. They were in love. Being family was never a setback for Targaryens anyway. Nevertheless, their relationship would make things somewhat complicated. Both of them met for the first time in Season 7 when Daenerys decided to return to Dragonstone. This historical event marked the beginning of their journey. Their relationship is somewhat controversial and complex, not because of them being aunt and nephew, but mainly because of their family ties. Daenerys believed that she was the rightful heir to the throne and had the ambition to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And that meant she expected the North to bend the knee. Jon, on the other hand, had no desire to rule, but as a natural leader, he was able to get followers from different backgrounds to follow him in his cause of defeating the army of the dead. Daenerys was not blind, and him being a male and Targaryen by blood put her position at risk. Even though they were together because of love, from a strategy point of view, it wasn't inconvenient. Both of them faced their share of challenges along the way and fans were hoping for a happy ending. However, the writers had something else in store for them. After Daenerys' terrifying attack on King's Landing, Jon realized that she had gone mad. She did not act in a way he recognized. Her ideology of the New World Order was now far from peaceful and involved a reign of terror and suppression of free will. He also feared for his siblings. Keeping this in mind, he had no other choice but to kill the love of his life. Daenerys tried her very best to justify her actions, but all in vain as Jon stabbed her with a knife and ended it all. Could Daenerys have been pregnant? Assuming she was with child, it would not have been Daenerys' first pregnancy. She was pregnant with Khal Drogo's child. But this pregnancy didn't end well. After asking the witch Mary Masdor to heal her husband, she instead poisoned him and he got worse. Dany asks her to save him. Drogo returns in vegetative state after the witch uses blood magic and Dany and Drogo's unborn child's life to restore him. Daenerys asks when he will be as he was, and the witch replies,
"When the sun rises in the west, sets in the east. When the seas go dry, when the mountains blow in the wind, like leaves."
She had acted in vengeance. Daenerys lost both her husband and child on the very same day. Dany is then certain she will not give birth to any human child. However, the show omitted a crucial passage from the book's prophecy that adds, "When your womb quickens again, and you bear a living child, then he will return and not before." Despite the fact that these lines never made it to the show, they did leave the door open for Dany to become pregnant. However, it appears that Dany somehow believes the prophecy that she will never have children and makes references to it throughout the series. For Daenerys, her only children are her dragons. Soon after the dragons hatched from their eggs and she was immune to fire, she is recognized as the mother of dragons. Readers of the book may be aware that George R.R. Martin hinted suddenly in the fifth book that Dany could yet become pregnant. The author implies that Dany might have unknowingly had a miscarriage. She was bleeding, but it was only woman's blood. The moon is still a crescent, though. How can that be? She tried to remember the last time she had bled. The last full moon? The one before? The one before that? No, it cannot have been so long as that. Let's assume that Daenerys was pregnant, and that Jon kills her unaware that she is pregnant with his child. How would this storyline unfold? There is another possibility that in her very last moments, Daenerys instructed Drogon to take her body to the temple of the Red Priestess in Volantis where the priestesses could possibly revive her. We know that dragons and their masters have some sort of magical connection, so this thing is absolutely possible. However, we have to keep in mind that not every priestess can revive people. So far, we have seen priestesses who serve the Lord of Light. We have witnessed multiple characters getting revived previously, including Beric Dondarrion, the Mountain, more through mad science than magic though, and Jon Snow himself. So it wouldn't be over the top. Now, if we consider that Daenerys carries the pregnancy in its entirety and gives birth to a child, this baby would be a Targaryen and would also have a claim to the throne. Being a Targaryen in itself is a huge deal in the Game of Thrones world, because at that time Daenerys was the only known living Targaryen. It ultimately makes you one of the most important humans in Westeros. We know that Targaryen is the only known bloodline that can tame and control dragons. Daenerys wasn't feared for no reason. She was literally the queen of dragons. This child could grow up to finish what she started and become the king or perhaps the new queen of dragons. It would cause a huge stir in Westeros, that's for sure. The child would also have a strong claim to the Iron Throne, but not without resistance. We did see how the Baratheon family basically died trying to claim the throne. So anything can happen. We don't know how Bran would react. It could be a Robert's Baratheon versus Daenerys situation all over again, unless his or her father's identity is revealed. If Jon is acknowledged as the father, the child could be a symbol of unity between the North and the rest of the Seven Kingdoms, being Targaryen and Stark blood. The existence of the child would have an impact on the relationship of the story's various characters. We don't know how Dany would act towards Jon. Grey Worm also did not like Jon's decision to murder Daenerys. The child's parentage would be a shock to many, but most importantly to Jon. After killing Dany, Jon was exiled from Westeros. Nonetheless, this was no easy task for him. He had love for Dany, and discovering that he not only killed the love of his life, but his child as well would make him be internally conflicted. We all know poor Jon struggles with his demons.